Accounting is all about telling the true financial story of a business. That means that the financial statements must be accurate and complete. After all, investors, owners, managers, and banks, for instance, make important decisions based on those financial statements. There are some challenges accountants encounter, though, in making sure that the financials are accurate, and one such issue is timing. In many cases, a business receives a service, incurs a cost, or uses a resource before the bill is received or payment is made. That's where accrued expenses come into play. Accrued expenses help accountants match expenses to the period in which they're incurred, ensuring that financial statements present a more accurate picture of a company's financial performance. In this video, you'll learn why accrued expenses are important, how they affect business decisions and financial reporting, and the methods accountants use to estimate, record, and adjust accrued expenses during the month-end close process. There are 4 reasons for why accountants record accrued expenses. First, accrued expenses ensure compliance with generally accepted accounting principles. Second, the fundamental accounting concept of the matching principle requires expenses to be recorded in the same period as the revenues they help generate, regardless of when the actual cash is paid. Third, it's important that a company's financial statements, particularly the income statement, accurately reflect the profitability of a business during a specific period. And finally, businesses also prepare budgets and forecasts, and accrued expenses help to accurately project expenses for future time periods. Most accounting teams have a very specific process they follow to ensure that all expenses are properly recorded for the month-end close. First, the accounting team proactively sends an email before the end of the month to department leads to ask if they sign new contracts, know about new expenses, changes to contracts, new equipment, rent agreement changes, etc. Auditors will ask you during the audit about how you verify the completeness of the invoices, and this monthly email is your proof that you checked with those authorized individuals about expenses that need to be accrued for. In large companies, there may even be a monthly meeting where those topics are discussed. At the end of the month, additional invoices for the prior month will arrive. Those invoices will still have to be recorded for the prior month. Hopefully, the business receives invoices electronically so the accountants don't have to wait for the mail. Many companies wait for 3 to 5 days to receive those invoices. Another way accountants find unrecorded expenses is through financial statement analysis, which involves looking through the income statements for the prior months and comparing them to the current months. Is there an expense account that looks much higher in prior months than in the current month? In that case, you'd look at the details of the account for the prior month to see if there are recurring expenses in prior months but there aren't the same expenses in the current month. For instance, there's a contractor who does software development each month for the company. The amount differs from month to month from $1,000 to $1,500. But in the current month, there is no amount. The first step would be to check whether the contractor is still doing work for the company, and the next would be to check where the invoice is. If there's a delay in receiving the invoice, you would estimate the amount based on prior months and record the accrued expenses. Our textbook focuses only on accrued salaries, payroll taxes, and interest on notes payable. Now, in practice, there are many examples for accrued expenses. Commissions to salespeople, accounting or legal fees, utilities, phone bills, even a lawsuit with a high probability of success if the amount of the settlement can be estimated. In this class, we're covering the basics, but subsequent accounting classes will focus on how to determine if you have to accrue for an expense. Sometimes it is a complex decision. Let's talk about a few common accrued expenses, starting with accrued salaries. Payroll checks are often issued on the Friday following the 1 or 2 week payroll period. For instance, on April 25th, 2025, for the time period from April 6th through April 19th. That would mean that the incurred time period 4/6 through 4/19 and the pay date 4/25 are all in the current month. The payroll team produces the payroll register and paychecks by April 25th, 2025, and provides the information to the general ledger accountant, who in turn records the wages, salaries, withholdings, and net pay in the general ledger on or around April 25th, 2025. But what about the next payroll period, which begins on April 20th? The next payroll spans 2 months. The payroll period from April 20th to May 3rd is paid on May 9th. That means that 8 workdays belong into the April financial statements and 2 workdays belong into the May financial statements. Option 1 is that the accounting team waits until the payroll reports are available, typically about 2 days before the pay date, and then reviews the payroll register to figure out how much of the payroll is for April. That is only possible if the month close process is long enough that you can wait. However, many companies want to close the accounting ledger within 3 to 4 days. So in that case, you don't have the option to wait. Option 2 consists of you estimating the amount based on the prior payroll. If the next payroll period is expected to be about the same amount as the prior payroll period. For instance, if the prior payroll period has gross wages of $24,000 for 10 workdays, you would accrue $19,200 for 8 workdays with a debit to salaries expense and a credit to salaries payable. Most accountants use the auto-reverse function in the accounting programs. That means that when you record the accrued expense, like in this example, for $19,200, you flag the entry as auto-reversing, and the system will enter the exact opposite of your entry at the beginning of the next month. Why? Well, when the payroll reports are generated on or around May 9th, the accountant enters the payroll amounts into the general ledger. If we did not reverse the accrual in the next month, we would essentially have recorded too much in expenses. A related topic to accrued salaries or wages is accrued payroll taxes. And even though payroll taxes are not legally owed until the salaries are paid, businesses want to match revenue and expenses in the appropriate period and accrue the employer's payroll taxes, even though the tax liabilities are technically not yet due. To calculate the accrued payroll taxes on the accrued payroll of $19,200, we multiply the accrued wages by 6.2% for Social Security, 1.45% for Medicare taxes, 0.6% for FUTA, and 5.4% for SUTA, for a total of $2,620.80, and then record the accrued payroll taxes by debiting the payroll tax expense for $2,620.80, and credit Social Security tax payable for $1,190.40, Medicare tax payable for $278.40, FUTA tax payable for $115.20, and SUTA tax payable for $1,036.80. Here's another example for accrued interest. In this example, the company takes out a loan of $100,000 on January 31st with an annual interest rate of 6%. The interest is payable semi-annually on June 30th and December 31st. And by January 31st, the company has incurred 1 month worth of interest, but it hasn't made any payments yet. To accurately reflect this expense in their financial statements, the company needs to accrue the interest. The annual interest for a $100,000 loan at 6% would be $6,000, and divided by 12 gives us the monthly interest of $500. We record the interest expense accrual by debiting the interest expense and crediting the interest payable for $500. Here's another example for an accrual. In this example, the company signs an agreement with a social media consultant for 60 hours at $350 per hour for 2 months, starting May 19th. We don't know the exact number of hours the consultant has actually completed for May because the company has not received the invoice yet. So we could reach out to the consultant and ask for the invoice, but let's just say the accounting team still doesn't receive the invoice even after emailing the consultant. Also, in large companies, it's not necessarily feasible to call every company that hasn't submitted their invoice. So this is where the accountant now estimates how much should be accrued for May. We don't know the exact number of hours, but we know the consultant was supposed to deliver at least 8 hours per week. Now, unless we have any other information that tells us that we should accrue more or less than 8 hours per week for the 2 weeks from May 19th to May 31st, we'll accrue 16 hours at $350 per hour or $5,600. And to record this accrual, we debit the advertising account for social media and credit accrued expenses for $5,600. Accrued expenses are one of the most common adjusting entries accountants record at month end and year end. Initially, estimating expenses that have not yet been paid may seem challenging, but after a few journal entry accruals, you'll be booking accruals like a pro. You'll probably encounter some difficult accruals where you may need additional advice from legal, compliance, or other teams, but most accruals are pretty standard, and they are essential to telling the accurate financial story.